This is Heather here, and this is my dear friend Kim Beavers. Kim is amazing. She's so knowledgeable at so many things, and the person that I ask when I need somebody to give me like the scientific reason behind something. Kim is a registered dietitian. She is a certified diabetes educator, which means she's like way smart. Commander's right there too. Commander's smart too. Kim also is the author. Some of y'all, if you've ever heard me talk about this cookbook, I love it. It is a very good meal planning, healthy cookbook that you can use on your health and wellness journey. I mean, seriously, y'all, it is so amazing. And guess what? This is going to be one of the prizes.
All right, prizes.
One of the prizes that we draw is going to be Kim's Best Body Cookbook. All right. Kim is also, these letters down here, a certified diabetes educator. Yes. That's her thing. She also has a TV show that airs on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on Channel 12 called Eating Well with Kim. But her real job, would you say that maybe?
Yeah.
Is certified diabetes educator. So Kim's going to talk to us today about how exercise impacts our blood sugar. And better yet, how we can use exercise to prevent disease.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. Good.
Thank you for that awesome intro.
Yeah.
So I originally titled this Exercise is Powerful, because when I teach my diabetes classes, I oftentimes will tell my patients exercise is free medicine. So I don't think I'd probably have to tell anybody on this particular Facebook group that exercise is important. We know it makes us feel good, and we know it makes us look better and have a little bit more energy. But ultimately, exercise is super powerful in many ways that we may not even recognize. So to expand on that, I wanted to get a little bit more technical or clinical and talk about how exercise is powerful in the maintenance of our health and also the prevention of chronic diseases. So for that, I thought we could talk about insulin resistance. So I don't know how many people have heard of insulin resistance, but what it is your body basically struggles to use or get glucose or blood sugar into the cell. So in order for blood sugar to get into our cells, we need the hormone insulin, and that's made in your pancreas. So insulin is triggered when our blood sugar goes up, and then insulin's like the key that unlocks the door to the cell to let that glucose come in. So when we're insulin resistant, that insulin doesn't work as well. It doesn't fit in the keyhole quite as well. So what then happens is either our blood sugar goes up or our body compensates by making a lot more insulin, and we become hyperinsulinemic. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, why is this important to me? So, let me go back up. What I need you also to know is that researchers don't 100% know why we become insulin resistant. We do know there's some genetic components to it, and we also know that when we're overweight, that can oftentimes make us more insulin resistant, and also inactivity makes us more insulin resistant. So that's where exercise comes in. But you also, as I said before, might be wondering, why is this important to me? I'm young and I'm healthy, so I don't need to know about this. But it is important to you. I'm going to tell you there's three main reasons I think it's important for everybody to know who is an adult, basically. One is that insulin resistance has absolutely no symptoms. You don't notice it. You can't tell if you are or you aren't. It's silent, and also keep this in mind, it's progressive. So that brings us to the second reason it's important. And that's because when you are insulin resistant, it puts you at risk for more chronic diseases. Of course, most notably would be prediabetes and diabetes. Which brings us to the third reason it's important for everybody to know about insulin resistance. And that is because of this crazy statistic that 83 million adults in America live with prediabetes. And many of those folks are not diagnosed. So 83 million, just to put that in perspective, is 1 in 3 adults. So 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. And guess what comes before prediabetes? Insulin resistance, right? So we want to prevent insulin resistance. And so to do that, we have to help our body become more insulin sensitive and increase our insulin sensitivity. Essentially, we're going to help our bodies use its own insulin more efficiently. And that, again, is where the power of exercise comes in. So I printed out this really nifty slide, because who doesn't love slides, right?
Can I ask something real quick?
Yeah.
You said 1 out of 3 people are pre-diabetic, right?
Are living with prediabetes.
Does that mean more than 1 out of 3 are insulin resistant?
Okay,
Would you say this is a broader category?
So, right, in my mind, what that means, if 1 in 3 people have prediabetes, in my mind, I just feel like we all have this.
We probably, yeah.
Now, we might not. I can't tell you who does and who doesn't, because the test for insulin resistance, there is one, they use it in research, it's kind of expensive. But what we know is that a lot of people have prediabetes, and as we get older, the incidence of prediabetes increases, and I don't know about you, but my goal is to get older. So I'm going to try to prevent insulin resistance as I'm approaching the golden years.
Now this is really cool.
All right, so this is my cool slide. I'm a bit of a nerd.
Do you want me to hold it up?
Yeah, sure.
You can point to it.
All right, so this obviously talks about activity levels and how it affects insulin sensitivity.
There you go.
So there's a couple things I want to point out. So this first side over here talks about percentages. So it goes, there's 100% right here, and it goes on up. This is talking about insulin sensitivity, right? So 100% is normal insulin sensitivity. There's a gray line. It might be a little harder to see. It's right here, right at about the 50% mark. And then you've got like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. This is days of the week. So this is showing people who don't exercise at all on the gray line. That's their insulin sensitivity. So about 50% insulin sensitivity. So we're still using our insulin, but it's not working quite right. Now, when we exercise, just to show you how impactful exercise is, if we're exercising 2 to 3 days a week, that's the red line. You can see on the days you exercise, insulin sensitivity is very high. And we can keep that insulin sensitivity for a while, but it does go back down to the sedentary line if we're not going to exercise. So if we skip a day or two. Okay, so the insulin sensitivity lasts about 12 to 24 hours, and then it plummets. So exercising 2 to 3 days a week is awesome, and I love that as a recommendation, but what's even better is exercising every single day. So that's what this other black line is. Every single day, when you exercise, you're keeping your insulin sensitivity at between 140 and 160. That's amazing. So that is, we're designed to move. That's what that says to me. We are designed to move, and we need to help our body use its own insulin better. And that's, again, disease prevention is going on there as well. The other thing I want to say about that is we're all human. We're going to skip days of exercise every now and then. So if you have to skip, just try to limit it to 1 day, because again, that insulin sensitivity will last for a little while, but after day 1, it's going to plummet. So you want to only skip 1 day if at all possible. And otherwise,
and insulin sensitivity is the opposite of insulin resistance, right?
Correct.
We want sensitivity. We don't want resistance.
Right. So if we're moving our muscles, it's going to make them a lot more receptive to that insulin and that blood sugar, because it needs blood sugar for energy. That's why exercise helps energize us, because our cells are getting that energy that sugar that it needs for energy. And so sometimes if you don't eat enough, you lack energy to exercise, and if you eat too much, it can make you lethargic. So there's that special little spot in the middle.
That's awesome. And that, would you say 30 minutes a day is good?
I would say 30 minutes a day is good, and it really depends on what you're doing. You know, it doesn't have to be, training for a marathon. It can be
one of these guys.
It could be one of those guys. It could be resistance. It could be aerobic. The main thing to keep in mind is you have to like it to make it consistent, and that's what you're aiming for, is consistency.
Right. All right. Well, thank you so very much.
Thanks.
Yeah, we're so blessed to have her give us that training.
Oh, whatever. She's awesome. And also, so stop watching this on your phone and go exercise.
Yeah, there you go. Go take your dog for a walk. All right. Check y'all later. See you later. Bye.